Hi, my name is Autumn Payne again, and we are speaking with Stephen Bryant Walker. He's a therapist at Middle Way Health, and he's a Buddhist teacher. So he has this wonderful perspective that combines Western psychology with Eastern philosophy. And he's here to talk with us again on topics related to mental health. So thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome. And I have a little bit of allergy, so I might be sipping on
Okay, that's
here. Okay. Cheers.
that's life.
Okay.
That's life.
Coffee.
Coffee. All right. So today I wanted to follow up on our last discussion and talk a little bit about dreams. Um,
Okay.
most of us have them, it's a part of our life. And I wanted to find out from your perspective, especially since you've got an interesting perspective, about what do dreams mean and what do they not mean? That's a big question, I know.
Well, I'd like to counter it with a question like, what does our daylight thoughts and images and uh, inner world mean during daylight? So if it doesn't mean much to us during the day, then we're probably not going to mean much at night. But
Hmm.
if we kind of are concerned with what our inner world is during the day, we're also going to realize that um, we don't really totally shut down at night. We're still doing us. So why not be interested in what we're still doing when the outer senses are asleep? Because not all of us is asleep, obviously.
Hmm. Well, that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
I knew you'd bring something interesting today. What I like is you're always turning things on their head. I'm expecting a certain answer and then you just flip it upside down.
Okay, good.
So, so are we kind of dreaming during the day a bit too?
Yeah, so I believe that it's kind of like the stars in the midday. They're still there. It's just the sun is so bright. So generally, our outer world and our regular outer senses are take so much of our energy that the inner dream world is not as available. But if we pause and maybe even close our eyes just a couple times during the day, we could actually catch the narrative. So that's why I say we're actually having we're dreaming right now. The nighttime dreams are continuing. We don't like they don't stop when we wake up. Waking up means the outer senses are becoming active again, but the images and the narrative of that psyche state are still going.
That's interesting.
Mm.
But they're not necessarily throwing strange and intriguing images in our mind that we would see in a dream. It's
Well, I
more,
think I think we are getting strange and interesting images, but we're not paying attention to them.
hmm,
We it just takes a lot to do outside world.
that's true. Yeah. So are you saying that's kind of drowning it out a bit?
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
So we're still having interesting images and narrative going on, but it remains largely unconscious.
Mm,
I mean, this
interesting.
isn't a new idea. I mean, it's not like I'm making this one up myself, but I'm just emphasizing it where normally we think, well, nighttime dreams just happen when we're sleeping, or
Hmm.
dreams that we characterize as dreams happen only when we're physically asleep, but that's not true.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a new thought for me.
Yeah.
Maybe not a new thought for you,
But
your
because
friend.
because the outer personality and the outer senses are a little bit more asleep, right, during physical sleep, then that level of our inner world, that psyche level, psychological level, really can is more vivid and we're more present to it. But the number of people that probably remember their dreams on a regular basis are pretty small.
Interesting.
And
Hmm.
we probably don't really remember what we were thinking about at 12:26 yesterday.
True.
Yeah, we might
That's a
think,
good
well,
point.
maybe I had lunch, and overall we might go, well, it was a good day, or I was mad at somebody, or this or that, but we probably don't remember all the moods and thoughts that are in continuous flow all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, how should we be interacting with our dreams or integrating them into our world? Sometimes you wake up and you're like, oh, thank goodness that's a dream. Now I can go on to the
Mm-hmm.
rest of my day. But is there a better way of responding to them?
Well, it does help to be conscious. So it does help to be awake to the dream in most cases.
So,
So,
what do you mean by that? Awake to the dream.
well, aware that we are dreaming at night and we're dreaming during the day, and that
Hmm.
uh, the content does have some meaning.
Hmm.
But I'm not saying all dreams or all thoughts during the day even should be written down or are really important. Probably a large part are noise, but
Hmm.
that's the job of doing the dream work, is to take that kind of use a metaphor of the ore, and then refine it and get the gold, and that
Oh,
takes some
interesting.
work, and that takes some work during the day too. So when people are meditating, of course, the idea is they're kind of physically awake, but they're temporarily kind of restricting or cutting down their activity, right? So that the other, just use the metaphor, layers of the mind or the psyche come up, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
In a mindfulness meditation, we are doing a conscious sorting process. We're not going to chase certain kinds of random or discursive or perseverating kind of thoughts, or we're going to try to balance, certain kinds and things like that. So we're interacting with the subconscious or maybe unconscious contact, even in a short daytime meditation. So short daytime meditations can be a little bit like sleep.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But you're more awake to it, so to speak, because you're awake. So
Right.
you can work with the imagery, you can work with maybe the meaning, would you say?
Yeah. So I mean, I usually say, well, what meaning do we take from the dream, or what meaning do we make out of the dream? Maybe the mean, that's, we bring meaning to our experience too. It's not necessarily there for us to passively receive. So that's
Hmm.
why I say reality is a meeting of what's there and what we bring to it.
Oh, that makes sense.
So,
Yeah. So can dreams be prophetic?
well, I think some are.
Hmm. How do you know when they are and when they're not?
That's a good question. And of course, when we say, "Oh, I dreamed this happening," then it feels like it was prophetic. Um,
Hmm.
but there are, in ancient societies and meditative yogic traditions and religious traditions, there are different ways of interpreting dreams and saying that these are prophetic or these are just wish fulfillments, as Freud said.
Interesting. I think it seems like most people I talk to about dreams have had some prophetic type dream at least once in their life. They dreamed something big happened and it happened. I mean, I know I have. Um, and then the other thing that people talk about is visitations from people who have passed on.
Yeah.
What's your view on that?
Well, that could happen during a dream state, but it doesn't have to. I mean, what's my
Hmm.
metaphysical, ontological view? Is that possible, or something like that?
Oh, I just want to know your perspective. I mean, I have had it happen. I've had a visitation during a dream from a
Mhm.
friend who had died like a week prior, and I knew for a fact that was a visitation and not a dream about that person. There's just this sense that this is different.
Did it
Um,
happen during a dream sequence though?
uh, What do you mean by that, during a dream
Well,
sequence? It was during a dream,
so
very
was it
vivid.
right?
What?
So the context was a dream, but you felt like during the dream sequence, then you get a visit.
Yeah, no, she was present in the dream interacting with me, and I said, "I can't believe you're here. This is a dream." And she was like, "Yes, I'm here, and I'm okay, and things are great where I'm at, and I love you guys, and this is," you know what I mean? It was, she was talking to me. And then I spoke with her husband later on, and he had the same thing actually, but what you said, during the day.
Uh-huh.
She also visited him. So she'd visited a couple people in that week at least,
Yeah.
metaphysically, like, I mean, I know it was true, but it's, what is the Buddhist perspective? I guess I would like to know.
Well, that's a big topic, but definitely since generally Buddhists believe that things are radically connected, that connections on different levels are possible. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, in a deep sense, I mean, everyone's here all the time.
Mm. That's true. Yeah.
So,
I think he may have gotten a phone call. That has happened to us before. There you go. Hi there. We lost you for a second. So can you still hear me? Oh, oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you. There you go. Oh, can't unmute. Their mic isn't connected. So if you've hit your audio settings, you should, oops. Okay. Let's see if he can hop back on. We were about to wrap up though. I think we may have lost him. Anyway, I'm really happy that people were able to join for now. If you have any more follow-up questions, just send them in the chat or put them in the comments, and we'll follow up with you on that. So anyway, thanks for joining. Bye.